Mr. Speaker, once again, the issue of electronic transfer levy is before this House, and I rise to support the passage of the bill repealing the electronic transfer levy. Mr. Speaker, the report says that if we pass the electronic transfer levy repeal bill, there will be more disposable income in the hands of individuals and households. Why is it so? Individuals and households would have lost the money by way of the deductions imposed by the tax. If we repeal the tax and then the individuals are no longer going to be making those payments by way of the deductions, the money will remain in their hands. And that is the basis for the committee saying that there will be more disposable income in the hands of the individual. It means the money will now be available to them to spend. That is what disposable income is. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at the fiscal impact analysis, which our standing order says we should consider during this stage of the debate, the committee says the committee was informed that the repeal of the levy will result in an estimated loss of 1.946 billion Ghana cedis for the 2025 fiscal year. What it means, Mr. Speaker, is that 1.946 billion, that is close to 2 billion Ghana cedis, would have been paid by Ghanaians to the government by way of the deductions based on the tax. But if we pass this bill, the deduction will no longer take place and government will lose close to 2 billion Ghana cedis. But the 2 billion Ghana cedis that government is going to lose will now come to Ghanaians. So in effect, individual Ghanaians who ordinarily would have lost 2 billion Ghana cedis will now retain their 2 billion Ghana cedis. And government that would have gained 2 billion Ghana cedis by way of deductions from Momo transfers, government will lose the 2 billion Ghana cedis. So this single legislative measure is going to pass on 2 billion Ghana cedis to Ghanaians. 2 billion Ghana cedis. 2 billion Ghana cedis. So this is a gift of 2 billion Ghana cedis being given back to Ghanaian citizens. 2 billion that they would have paid to government will now be their 2 billion. So this legislation, if passed, gives Ghanaians 2 billion Ghana cedis as disposable income that they can spend. They can pay their children's school fees. They can, build their homes. They can, those of us who want to get married, we can get married with it. Mr. Speaker, 2 billion Ghana cedis is being given back to Ghanaians by the passage of this. And not just this year. If we had continued the legislation next year, another 2 billion Ghana cedis, which would have been paid by Ghanaians to government, will remain in their hands. And then the following year, another 2 billion Ghana cedis. So starting from this year, every year, Ghanaians are going to get 2 billion Ghana cedis, which would have gone to government, staying in their hands. Mr. Speaker, this is the policy consideration that is informing the decision to pass this legislation. And Mr. Speaker, I support the passage of this bill and urge colleagues to vote for the passage of the bill. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minority Chief.
Speaker, the consideration earlier was that the Leader of the House will conclude. I feel compelled to make this comment. I'm speaking in support But just for the record, Speaker, let's all bear in mind that the rate as of that time was, we started off with 2.5%. The position of the minority then was that we should take it to 1%. And I heard what is no. That was said. And I heard then minority leader, very loud all over the place. In fact, Jonabo Haruna Idrisu engaged us that if it's going to be 1%, we are all for it. Now it is back to square one, 1%. So in fact, what have you done? Well, this is a very essential point that must go into the records. So we are now back to 1%, which was their original position. So we haven't done anything new. Fact be told, we haven't done anything new. The 1% is what we are now touting. And that was what you spoke to earlier. You check the records there. Is it not 1%? Majority, are you not reducing it to 1%? In our manifestos, because we said we're going to abolish it. In our manifesto, and anybody can trace that, we had said that we're going to abolish it.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Are you praying?
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
The E-Levy is being
the bill before us. Is it to reduce it to 1% or to abolish it?
To completely abolish the E-Levy
leaders,
so that we give 2 billion to the people of Ghana.
Please speak into the record.
2 billion to the people of Ghana.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip, please speak to the record. The bill before us, our second reading, is it to reduce the electronic levy to 1% or to repeal? The question is directed to Minority Chief Whip.
Leadership is, Mr. Speaker.
You didn't make the submission, Honorable Brian Achampong. He made the submission. That is why I am making reference to the bill before us to say, is it to abolish it or to reduce it to 1%? Honorable Minority Chief Whip, I want to hear you on this matter.
Speaker, you will hear me. Speaker, you will hear me. So the argument back and forth, the argument back and forth was that we should bring it to 1%. And they also supported that argument, that it should be brought to 1%. If it's the case that, no.
Honorable Minority Leader, my question is simple.
Speaker, my response is
with reference to the bill in issue. Is the bill trying to abolish or is reducing to 1%?
Speaker, if you are patient, I will get the point. We've read the bill. This is second reading. Principles. Speaker, that's what and I'm saying that as of that time, we all agreed that we should reduce it to 1%. And they also advocated for that. Now, after thought, you had a deep reflection and you want to abolish. Now we support it. Let's all go ahead and abolish it. So, Speaker, to answer your question, the bill is advocating for an abolishment. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes. Honorable Deputy Finance Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank all members who have supported the request by His Excellency President Mahama to abolish E-Levy. And I am emphasizing that President Mahama has been consistent, has stayed true to his promise to Ghanaians that when elected, he would abolish E-Levy. And that is exactly what we are doing. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Brian Achampong made comments on paragraph 6.2 that the paragraph seeks to suggest that all Ghanaians were against E-Levy. In fact, an Afrobarometer report that was survey that was presented after E-Levy was passed indicated that 3/4 of Ghanaians were against E-Levy. And so this is to emphasize the fact that it was a very unpopular levy and majority of Ghanaians were against it. And so it is in response to this that we have come to this house to repeal the Electronic Levy Act. And we are abolishing it. And the leader has emphasized the importance of it and the effect on Ghanaians, that in these difficult times, it is important that government gives back something to Ghanaians. And so we are giving 2 billion.
Honorable Minister, conclude. We have a long way to go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm grateful. Honorable
members, the second reading of the bill has been duly considered under Standing Order 167. And at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as many as are in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted.
An act to repeal the Electronic Transfer Levy Act 2022, Act 1075, and the Electronic Transfer Levy Amendment Act 2022, Act 1089, and to provide for related matters.
Honorable members, the Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill 2025 accordingly read a second time. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, so let's take motion number 47. And with your leave, I will ask for permission for the Deputy Finance Minister to take motion number 47 for us.
Leave accordingly granted. Deputy Minister for Finance. Majority Chief Whip.
We are still waiting for the minister himself. It is the case. You said he was his way. From here to the finance ministry is just 5 minutes drive.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip, I thought you said you would accommodate up to 3 bills.
Speaker, I said 2. I'm only reminding them that we are getting closer to 2, the second one.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I move that motion number 47 on today's order paper, page 11, be taken today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, the procedural motion numbered 47 is accordingly moved. Any seconder?
Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved.
Honorable members, the motion moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. This is a procedural motion. The question is, as many as are in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Yes, majority.
Mr. Speaker, we are ready to move to the consideration stage. So that is item
Honorable members, 48. Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill 2025 at consideration stage. Honorable members, the Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill 2025 is at consideration stage. Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there are no amendments.
Honorable members, though there are no advertised amendments, in line with the principle of the Supreme Court in Ezwame versus Attorney General, we shall take the bill clause by clause. Clause 1.
Act 1079 and Act 1089 repealed.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Mr. Speaker, the bill is being abolished. So I'm not too sure why.
Honorable Brana Champon, please address the chair.
Okay. We are throwing the whole thing out.
You still have to go through.
Honorable members, clause 1 under consideration. Any amendment? Honorable members, there be no amendment to clause 1 of the bill. It is ordered to be part of the bill. Honorable members, clause 2.
Savings.
Honorable members, clause 2 of the bill is under consideration. Honorable members, there be no advertised amendment or proposed amendments by this House. It is hereby ordered that clause 2 stand part of the bill. Yeah, same is with clause 1. So the long title. Honorable members, the long title.
An act to repeal the Electronic Transfer Levy Act 2022, Act 1075, and the Electronic Transfer Levy Amendment Act 2022, Act 1089, and to provide for related matters.
Honorable members, we've come to the end of consideration. Honorable members, as many as are in favor of as many as are in favor of the long title of the bill, say aye. Those against, say no. The long title is ordered to be part of the bill. Honorable members, we've come to the end of consideration of the bill. Honorable Majority Leader, any indication?
Yes, right, Honorable Speaker. Let's take item 49, which is a procedural motion as well.
Item numbered 49 at page 12 of today's order paper. Motion.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that item as advertised.
Mr. Speaker, I think you need to announce to the Minority Chief Whip that the Finance Minister is in the chamber to repeal the E-Levy.
Majority Leader is inviting me to a party I'm not interested in. We have seen him. This is what he should be doing. I hope he will sit throughout the day.
Yes, Finance Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that item advertised in today's order paper, page 12, as item 49, be now moved. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, the motion numbered 49 accordingly moved. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable members, this is a procedural motion. The question, therefore, is as many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have just considered a bill, but just for your direction and guidance, the bill which we just considered was not provided to members. Even on we only have reports. We only have the report of the committee. But when you were reading the clauses, we could not follow because we have not been served with copies of that bill. And I'm just asking for your direction and
Honourable Member, the reports are even on the console.
I agree, the reports are there, but when you were reading
this bill has been distributed long ago.
No, it's not been distributed.
Honourable Members, after laying of the bill, it is ordered that copies be distributed to members. Honourable Members, we should be interested. Anytime at all a bill or a report is laid, there will be an order that copies be distributed to members. Sometimes, I'm a culprit. They distribute it by placing it in our pigeonholes, and we don't go for it. Either we don't go for it, or we go for it, and then we leave it in our offices.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority.
Mr. Speaker, so let's move on to item number 50.
Item number 50. Yes, Minority Chief.
Speaker, we are all trying to help to dispense of business, but just to draw the whip's attention. In fact, there is a genuine observation. But even the report of the committee, there were only limited copies that were brought to the chamber. Only limited copies were brought. When I inquired, we were told they've been uploaded on the system. Speaker, we know we have not fully moved on to the usage of the electronic system. So the provision of these hard copies come to complement this effort. So I want to plead. It is out of a genuine observation. Let's run more copies. At least, if for nothing at all, the members of the Finance Committee who have been involved in the consideration of these bills. It's important.
Honourable Member, I will be surprised if a member of the Finance Committee doesn't have a copy of this bill, because I happen to be part of the meeting and at the committee's consideration of the bill. These bills were taken one after the other. And the Honourable Member on his feet, you ask vigorous questions based on the bill itself when the committee was doing a consideration of it. I happen to be there, so I've heard you loud and clear. Your useful questions were taken into account. So as a member of the committee, I'll be surprised that you don't have a copy of this.
Mr. Speaker, the intervention I made was to help you, because I, as a member, have copies, but there were some amendments proposed to some of the bills. So what I was holding may not be what we are discussing now, because when you meet at committee